Hi guys, my name is Peter Monteretti, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to drive stick, or for some people that don't know what stick means, that means a car with a manual transmission. So the cool thing about manual transmission cars is that you have to shift gears on your own, and according to a 2017 article written in Popular Mechanics by Matthew Janser, only around 4% of cars today you can buy with a manual transmission. Everything else is automatic or something like that. So today what I want to do is to teach you how to successfully drive stick shift without any problems. So the first step of that is to teach you about the different parts of the manual transmission and how it differs from an automatic. After that, I'll teach you how to start and put the car into first gear. And then after that, I will show you how to shift into higher gears as well as how to downshift. Alright, so now that we have our empty parking lot and our car, let's get into some of the basics. So, as you step into the car, one of the first things you're going to notice is there's no P, R, N, D, or L anywhere on here. Instead, you'll see a reverse and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is your stick. This is the part of the stick shift, and that helps you change gears while you're driving. That's pretty important to make sure that you're not stuck in a gear, and it allows you to go faster. And the way you do that is by using that stick as well as that clutch pedal right there. You can see that it's a little worn out from all the use, but you'll have your accelerator all the way on the right over there, your brake in the middle, and your clutch all the way over here. Those three you use together to drive a stick shift car. Alright, so before we get started with the driving part, I should tell you why I'm qualified to teach you. That's because I learned how to drive stick as soon as I got my driver's license from my dad, and I also learned some more advanced techniques like heel-toe shifting from pro race car driver and automotive journalist Rich Ceppos. So with that in mind, let's actually get to the driving part. Before we actually start driving, there are a couple things we need to learn. The first one is the shift pattern. It's pretty nice on this car and most cars because it's at the top of the gear shift. It kind of tells you what the pattern is and how the gears are laid out. So if you can see that, reverse is all the way over here. So to get to reverse, you have to pull on this little lever like that. So pull on it and push all the way over and up. When the car is actually on, it'll make a little noise indicating that it is in reverse. To get into first, do not touch the lever. When you're going to any of the forward gears, don't touch the lever. And you just go over and up. Second, you pull down. Third, you go up to the side and up again. Fourth, pull all the way down from third. Fifth, up, over, up again. And sixth, all the way down. If you notice the car isn't on, which is important, you don't want to damage transmission while you're practicing this. Additionally, when the car's stick is just in the middle, that's called this car's neutral. That's how it is in manual transmission. There isn't a special place like in an automatic where the P, R, N, D, and L is for the car to be in neutral. It's just whenever the gears aren't engaged, the car's considered in neutral. Another thing up here that you need to remember is the car's idle point. So let me turn the car on for that. Turn the car on, you're going to want to have the key in the ignition, and you're going to want to have your foot on the clutch pedal. So to turn the car on, you have to have your foot on the clutch, not on the brake. It would be the brake in automatic cars, but that's not the case here because it's not an automatic. Another thing, going back to the tach, you're going to have to make sure you know the difference between your tachometer and your speedometer. So the tach over here tells you how fast your engine's running. In this car, right now the engine is running, but it's at an idle. It's at a little under 1,000 RPM. That's going to be important to keep in mind when you're shifting. You're going to make sure that when you do shift, the car stays above its idle, otherwise it'll stall out in the middle of the road, and that's just not good. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to learn how to start rolling in first gear. It's pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to push the clutch down like that, and come over here and push over and up to get into first. I think we are ready to go. So according to a 2018 article in Digital Trends written by Ronan Glick, the golden rule of shifting manual transmission is to begin with the clutch over here and to end with the gas over here. What he means is you're going to want to slowly let the clutch out. Just very, very slowly release pressure on it, and you'll notice that you'll start moving. So once you start getting some momentum, you can apply a little bit of pressure on the gas. You can barely see my foot moving, which is key. You don't want to put too much or too little, and you'll start moving with your foot off the clutch. And if you can hear it, the engine's going, and we have movement. Now, one thing that can go wrong in this process is you accidentally let the clutch out a little too early, or you put too much pressure on the accelerator and the car stalls out. So I'll show you what happens when a car stalls out. You put your gears into first and you come down here and you are applying the gas and the clutch and just let go. The car stalls out, kind of like that. The engine will shut off, so you got to start over the whole process again. So that's one of the things that can go wrong. Once you've accomplished that, we're going to move on to how to actually shift the gears while you're moving. All right, so now that we've mastered how to get into first gear, we're going to practice how to shift gears, like going from first to second, second to third, etc., etc. So, like before, we are going to put our foot on the clutch, shift into first gear, and start moving. Apply some pressure to the gas, and we have movement. And we're going along, and we are looking at our tack, and it's getting kind of high up there. We should shift. So what we do is we press down on the clutch pedal, pull back on the stick, and keep driving. So one thing that could go wrong here is you could not shift to the right gear, which is usually a problem when you're going from second to third, like that. You could always go from second to fifth, which will cause a car to stall out if it's not going fast enough. That's why it's important to be looking at your tachometer as well as your speed to know how fast your engine's going, how fast your car is going, and based on that, choose what gear to shift into. Alright guys, for this last part of the video, I found out that it is very, very, very hard to show someone how to downshift while driving a manual car while holding a camera. So I'm just going to have to tell you verbally. I think that Jack Hebler, in a 2019 article written in Car and Driver, does a really good job of describing the process, in which he says, to slow down or stop, you must apply the brake pedal smoothly. To stop fully, you must push the clutch all the way in as the car gets below around 5 miles per hour, otherwise the engine will stall. And that's about it when it comes down to braking and downshifting. I hope this video helped you in your endeavor on how to learn how to drive manual, and thank you for watching.